Four ultra-rich guys get together at a secluded mansion in the mountains. What happens from there? Someone's getting pregnant. I think we all know what happens next. We're diving right into Pride Month. They say they're there to play poker, but really they're there to poke him.
Welcome back to the Grail Guys presents Cinema Jones and the Last Movie Crusade, the movie review show where one of us reviews a film and the other guy shits on that review if he can or agrees with it. I'm Sir Robert of Redford.
And I, of course, am Sir David Daggertongue,
And we
blasphemous bard of blockbusters,
have a Grail Scale.
patron saint of irreverence.
You done?
What's the problem?
We rate our movies on the Grail Scale.
One cup review, the Paper Flixie cup.
Shitty and disposable.
After that, we come to the Crimson Party cup, also known as
The Han Solo Cup. It's a 2-cup review.
in the middle, of course, Mom's blue dinner glass.
Good looking, reliable, absolutely average. A 3-cup review. Next,
The ceramic beer stein,
handsome, strong, very, very good.
just like us.
And lastly, a 5-cup review is
The crystal chalice.
ornate, opulent, the holy grail of movies. We don't just give that one out. We promise you.
We haven't given it out, and we may never.
We may never.
Stay tuned to find out.
What did you choose this week, David?
This week I chose Mountainhead, released May 31st and available for streaming exclusively on HBO Max. Mountainhead is a dark satire about 4 wealthy tech bros gathered for what's supposed to be a laid-back poker night at a secluded, snow-covered mountain mansion. The backdrop to this gathering, shown on the phones they can't stop checking, is a world rapidly devolving into chaos thanks to a suite of AI tools released by fictional social media behemoth Tram. Basically, Facebook if it snorted Twitter. This nightmare child allows users to create ultra-realistic deepfake videos. Your ex setting a daycare on fire, a senator mid-satanic orgy at Olive Garden while the waiter grinds black pepper all over his ass, uploaded in glorious 4K. Reality is now optional, and truth has gone the way of Blockbuster. Quaint, outdated, and flattened by the weight of the algorithm. First up in this neural network of narcissists is Ben, Tram's mastermind, a fictionalized Mark Elon Muskerberg and walking proof that tech billionaires are just underwhelming real-life anime villains, without the abs. Next up, we have Jeff, the developer of advanced AI capable of distinguishing fake content from real. Then there's Randall, an aging venture capitalist who greets his terminal cancer diagnosis with a wall of smug denial, referring to his doctors as unintelligent. Finally, there's Super, whose nickname is a condescending riff on Soup Kitchen, which tells us exactly where he ranks in this limp tech bro dick measuring contest. The rules for this gathering are established by their motto of no deals, no meals, no high heels, which also means just no business, no staff, and no women. Just egos, toxic ambition, and enough faux enlightenment jargon to choke a Buddhist chatbot. Since they all have ulterior motives for attending, the no business rule goes out the window almost immediately. Ben is here with only one goal: to get his hands on Jeff's AI in the hope that it can dismantle the chaos Tram unleashed. His motivation isn't redemption or social responsibility, it's damage control, brand management, and a desperate Hail Mary to keep his digital empire from devouring itself. Randall, hell-bent on skipping death entirely, is pinning all his hopes on Ben and Tran pioneering the technology to upload his consciousness like the most malware-infected PDF ever. Super, the owner of this extravagant bro palace that might as well include towels monogrammed with Bitcoin logos, has invited the others in an attempt to drum up investments for his meditation app and finally join them in the billionaire club. Jeff is the closest thing we get to an empathetic, relatable character. He seems to be the only one in the group who genuinely just wants to spend time with the others, whom he perceives as his friends. The dynamic is deliciously awful. These men don't converse with each other so much as perform TED Talks at each other. Their dialogue is unbearably smug and tiresome, and that's the point. Every exchange effectively satirizes the tech elite's affinity for buzzwords and philosophical posturing. They name drop Nietzsche and Kant like frat boys trying to impress a Tinder date who just so happens to own a bookshelf. It's like listening to four deranged Siri devices argue over who read the Republic most thoroughly while Rome burns in the background. Mountainhead is an exploration of what happens when power becomes its own justification, and progress is measured not by who benefits, but by who profits. That idea is perfectly represented by the film's setting, which is as cold and clinical as the characters. The kind of sterile emptiness you only find in billionaire retreats and Bond villain layers. That's what makes this movie so bleakly effective. It doesn't present evil as cackling, maniacal villains, but as men who are emotionally stunted and ethically bankrupt, more concerned with personal gain than the global crises they've instigated. Watch this movie as soon as you can for its keen insight, then go outside and touch some grass while you still can. You know, before that video of you ripping open your trench coat and exposing yourself to all the seniors at the retirement village goes viral. So I would give this a solid 4 out of 5 ceramic beer stein review filled with a delicious beer. What about you? What did you pick?
Wow. I think you chose poorly, my friend.
You chose poorly.
And you're far more generous than I would be with this movie. I thought this was a living piece of shit, and I can't recommend it on any level. This insulted me from about the 20-minute mark. I watched it in two parts, and when I finished watching the opening, I'm like, okay, this has got somewhere that it could go, and then it just never did. I honestly thought this was going to be a movie about oral sex at altitude, and man, was I disappointed. It seemed so forcibly complex in its dialogue and layout, like one of them had written the movie trying to fool me with the plotting and the tech talk and we were just talking about how HBO has kind of gotten into the let's make money with our shit movies, and nothing describes this movie better than that. This seems like a dude wrote it in one night on cocaine and then filmed it in one weekend at his place with four dudes, two of who you've heard of. The only money that went into the movie was to pay for Steve Carell and Jason Schwartzman. I'd never seen a less funny movie that wasted the talents of two very funny guys as poorly as this movie did. I get it, as it's a dark comedy. It's supposed to, there wasn't one time I laughed. I thought the funniest part of the movie was when Van gets a visit from his kid, who he clearly ignores completely. He sticks him on the concrete. It watches pieces. Yes, it watches him just kind of crawl or do nothing on a concrete while the nanny bafflingly just kind of does her job. And to say that this movie insults women is an understatement. I'm not Mr. Feminist. I get it. This sausage fest completely ignores female characters to the point where the two in the movie are a nanny who's put upon and taking care of this asshole billionaire's kid, and a corporate shill who has to show up and suck his balls for 2 seconds to get what she needs out of the thing. And if it's going to be a dark comedy, it's got to be funny. And it just wasn't. It wasn't funny. It had some visual sort of cleverness that made me smile, like the complete abundance of food that Schwartzman kept on bringing out. The only reason to see this movie is to see the cool ass house. It was, and then they shit on the house, right? The one guy can't stop talking about how dang tacky it is. Yeah. And okay, to me, architecturally and stylistically, it wasn't that tacky. It's kind of a cool place in the mountains with a bowling alley, and yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't gross. I thought that was the only thing to like about this film. I give this film a fucking Flixie cup full of a shot of something nice like Jack Daniels, because I did enjoy the setting, and I like Schwartzman and Carell. This one to me was a money grab based on popular subject matter these days. I think you could do a lot better watching something that was a little more fleshed out in terms of A, the comedy, and B, some more characters or some more scenes of the actual chaos. It was one-dimensional, it was insulting, it was overwritten. I couldn't get behind it. I thought it was terrible.
You did forget one other female character, Jeff's girlfriend, who is with him on a plane at the beginning of the movie because the plane's going to drop him off at the title locale, and it's going to take her down to Cabo, maybe somewhere in Mexico, for a night of group sex. So that's pretty feminist.
I'll have to look at that scene again. But you're right. There was.
And throughout the movie, he's like checking on her. I think at one point he sends people to watch her and just make sure that she's not having sex with a bunch of people.
And I'm not going to give any spoilers away here. You're right. The beginning of the movie had a little bit more. Like I said, the first 15 minutes, I was kind of looking forward to the rest of it. I thought it set up nice. And then it just went in the shitter for me. And without giving anyone any spoilers, when it gets to kind of the kind of climax, it's just stupid. It's absurdist in a way that the rest of the movie wasn't. And I'm like, really, why are they here? Why did this go to this?
You're talking about the deal that they ended up striking.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that part. They definitely, I believe, fumbled the ending. About halfway through, things start going off the rails, and the three guys start plotting on Jeff to get this AI away from him. But it does start getting increasingly bananas, the things that they do. And then it just kind of fizzles out, right?
Yeah, it didn't have any good sequitur at all.
Yeah,
I
felt like they needed to just keep escalating that to an absurd place, but they didn't. And I kind of see why, because in the end, these guys, they're not the type of people to actually follow through on their threats or their plans. Jason Schwartzman, Super, gets left by the others holding the bag after a failed attempt. You didn't laugh at that part?
I don't really remember laughing. I remember sort of smirking a couple of times, and I get where he's trying to get with this. So the world is being run by douchebag, middle school mentality, tech billionaires who have talent in one special area that unfortunately is going to allow them to probably run the world. I just think it missed a lot of opportunities to be really funny in that regard. It just missed for me.
I don't disagree with that it certainly missed opportunities to be better.
Why does Carell have cancer? What does it have to do with any of the fucking show? That didn't have anything to do with anything. It didn't do anything for me. I just thought it was like a random thing. Okay.
The doctors are telling him he has cancer and he's dying, essentially. Later on, when he's speaking with Ben about what's the timeline for uploading the human consciousness.
Yes, and that's right. That is what it's about. He wants to be the first one to have his consciousness uploaded so he doesn't have to die. But I don't think that that's clear enough or a strong enough thread through. I didn't, the whole part about what each one of them wants from the other one was not clearly written for me. It was just kind of like, here's these four guys speaking in a tech language that I don't really understand.
Because a movie is speaking a language of subtlety, my friend.
Is that so, really? Or is it just so specialized that I could make a movie about the different types of herbaceous plants that can be found in Zone 4, and anyone who doesn't know about it, that is going to find it really, really boring. And I think you will too.
I do believe you mean to say herbaceous.
No, I meant herbaceous.
Because there's a fucking H in it.
I like to smoke herb, not herb.
Oh. Okay, so there you have it. Mountainhead, 4 out of 5 for me. What did you end up going with? 1 out of 5?
1.5. My Flixie cup is full of, like I said,
shot of Jack Daniel,
Johnny Walker. So one of the good ones, you know what?
Give me a shot of Johnny Walker Black, and I'm happy with the Flixie cup.
Oh yeah, there you go. You don't have to do the dishes.
What am I going to say?